Rousey and Adrian here from the Two Beards crew, coming at you with another episode of Welcome to the Wrexham Review. Here we go. All right, g'day, Sheila's beards, fuckheads, everyone that wants to watch this video. We're coming at you today with a review of the latest episode of Welcome to Wrexham,
Oh
just
yeah.
released. So interesting episode, hey Adrian.
Yeah, mate. I was very excited as everyone was in bated breath. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like a bit of time travel. We're going back to, the start of the season where things weren't as perfect as we might have liked for certain things, but obviously we know how we go further along.
That's right, that's right. So the episode started off obviously with the owners that we love, Rob and Ryan. They obviously met the king and queen consort in this episode.
Yep.
So they started off like they were shocked and saying, "Oh, yeah, wow, this is the king." Um, Interesting that they decided to go with this because I find this event actually happened towards Christmas time in the timeline of things, and then it jumped backwards, so it kind of made things a little bit disjointed if you're aware of the timeline of
Yeah,
what happened last season. So,
for sure. For sure. I
what do
think
what do we make of that? Like,
I
I
could,
get it.
yeah.
Like,
I think what they did was they realized that it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, especially being a Welsh club, who are, predominantly anti the monarchy. So to have this kind of thing happen is great for the club and it's nice to show. But at the end of the day, they wanted to basically sweep it under the rug. They wanted to go, yep, we did this. This was a big thing and let's move on.
yeah. I
But
mean, look,
obviously, with
staying out of the politics of it, we are aware that there is a section of Welsh people, even Irish people, that are not monarchy fans. Um, so I guess it made sense that they really did touch on it. They really didn't show much of the conversations between Ryan and the king.
probably didn't have much approval for it, to be honest.
Mm.
There's probably a lot of times where, old Charlie Boy doesn't really know much about Wrexham. So other than maybe seeing Ryan Reynolds, and I feel like when you could see in the moment where he talks to Rob, he goes, where he kind of, I think he asked where you're from, and he goes from Philadelphia. He goes, oh, I hear it's always sunny there. I'm like, okay, did he get told to say that, or did he actually know about Always Sunny? So it'd
It's
be
a
quite
clever
interesting.
little quip from the king. Look, I know I'm a monarchist myself, but
Or you don't want to
um,
say that, mate. You'll get fucking slaughtered on the internet.
probably. But hey, look, um,
Staying out of the
it was a
politics of
clever
it
little
all.
quip. It's a clever little quip, and but I get to see why they didn't focus on that. I mean, that should have been in hindsight, that should have been a massive moment. And yes, they did play it up. They had the little shots where they did the etiquette training. Fuck, can you imagine if you and I did fucking etiquette training, Adrian?
Mate.
Shall we sign up and go do one? Do you reckon? Because like,
Nah, to be honest, I'll just do a Paul Mullen and just be a no show. Just refuse to see him. So
oh,
like
dude,
I think I'd just dodge it. I think I would dodge it. That and also
something,
obviously dodge the
something,
etiquette training.
something that made me laugh was the two pumps and a shake.
Yeah, that was funny. That was good by the
That,
boys. It was
that
kind
was
of
pretty.
quiet from Rob and Ryan in terms of, I wouldn't say quiet in comedy, but just quiet from them in general. Like it was obviously quite a focus on the club, which I kind of
Yeah,
liked. And I
yeah,
also
I
liked that
found
they,
that there was a bit less of them and more
yep,
now towards Wrexham as a community, as a football club, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. Uh,
yeah, it needed to happen. It needed to happen because I think that's their idea was, reel them in, or like it reeled us in the first season, reel us in with Rob and Ryan and them being amazing people. Now it's like, all right, cool, we've done that part. We've already shown a light on how good these people are. Let's keep showing the community and obviously showing people like AEC, the engineering company. Um,
I really
seeing
loved that
that.
touch. That
Me too.
was a really nice touch
Made
with
my
the
day.
barriers from the old cop.
Yeah.
That really added a good sort of wholesome feel to the episode. So,
Yeah.
and then the episode touched on two games. First being the Eastleigh game, with obviously the debut of Elliot Lee when he came out and he's scoring 2 goals. And oh, what a game! I mean, that's that. I remember watching that game and I'm thinking, me, that guy is an amazing player, and I think that stamped him in Wrexham hearts forever from that
Oh,
game
straight
onwards.
away from the get-go, mate. And look,
I mean,
it
people
was
were
it was the coming of Elliot Lee, mate. It was the coming of Elliot Lee. And I think
coming. He can come
how did
anytime he
I
wants.
love how there we go. And I walked into that one. But at the end of the day, I it was the arrival of Elliot Lee. And I think it was really poignant when they asked one of the kids in the crowd, is Paul Mullen still your favorite or is it Elliot Lee? And they're like, Elliot Lee. And I'm like, you know what? There was probably a lot of people who were like that. And I know my mate Rousey over here is his favorite player is definitely Elliot Lee. And I think
My
it's great
favorite
to see.
player is Elliot Lee.
But
Like,
favorite god is Paul
my
Mullen.
favorite god is Paul Mullen because Paul Mullen's on other levels, mate. But
Yeah, he is for
and
sure.
look, I really love what Paul Mullen stands for, and which we got to go into a preview of next week's episode, which will actually feature Millie, who was on our podcast.
Bloody love Millie.
If you haven't seen that episode, head to our channel and search for Two Beards, a podcast, and Wrexham AFC, and you will see the episode we did with Millie and autism awareness. Really successful episode and such a great, amazing girl. So she's coming up next.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul Mullen is just I don't know, he's untouchable. Like he's just
Yeah. He's a different cloth, mate. Like I
he's in a
think
different class. And I feel if you
yeah.
say he's your favorite player, everyone else is going to say he's your favorite player. But
Yeah.
like who can compare to him? Like he's just insane.
And I think so. I think I was talking to someone on Twitter, not Twitter, fucking X. But I was talking to them around the idea that Paul Mullen probably gets, and I can say it now, probably gets a statue in Wrexham at some point in his life.
Give the man a statue. He's already got a painting. Give the man a statue.
At Cambridge, he had the Paul Mullen stand, which they've actually renamed, ironically. But in Cambridge, he had the Paul Mullen stand. So I would not be surprised. I'm not saying they'll name the cop after him, but I think you'll definitely be seeing, some sort of, memorial to him, years down the track.
What did you make to Elliot Lee's haircut in the debut?
I forgot he had that, mate. I forgot he had it. I saw it and I was like, you beautiful bastard. What are you, Prince Charming? You fuck. Like, I could not believe how, like, he pulls off any haircut, by the way, but I also feel like he took off the top later in the season, which I'm sure are bit spoilers for later on, but he did it to kind of accentuate just how big of a unit the bloke is.
Oh, mate, look, Elliot Lee, any day I'd squeeze his cheeks. I mean, let's be honest. He's Elliot Lee.
Yeah, fair.
He scored 2 in that game. We won that game, clean sheet. First with Howard. But then it went to the Chesterfield game. Chesterfield game was a disaster.
Yeah. I remember that one.
But you know what? I think that's obviously where the Mark Howard rhetoric sort of started because he did make some real bad mistakes in that game. Yeah. But hey, he's doing all right for us now. So, that's all I can say about that.
Spoilers.
Goalkeepers make mistakes. And he even said in the show, remember that little episode, a little bit, he said, when goalkeepers make mistakes, it costs goals.
Yeah.
And they've got to be impervious to that.
And I could see in his face, I'm sure they've interviewed him. I don't think they would have interviewed him straight after that game, to be honest. I think that's down the season. But the fact that he was still probably as gutted as he would be just, again, shows Chomp's character. I fucking love him. I know that a lot of people are like, we could do this with another keeper, that, the other. No, like Chomp lives and breathes football and he's a mature head. He's a level head. Maybe not so much in that Chesterfield match, but definitely this current season. So, but just getting to see a bit of backstory on him, like it was so weird when they listed all of the new players we got. And I forgot Lee was new. Mendy was new. Dolby was new. And I was like, holy shit. Like I knew that, but you forget how long and how many years that season took off of it. I mean,
Mm.
how many hair follicles that season took off my head as well.
So overall, I think the episode was, in my opinion, it was a good episode to establish where they're probably trying to go
Yeah.
with the season, and
Yes.
they're they're introducing the characters, they're introducing the town, they're more focused on the town, less focused on the
Yep.
owners, which I appreciate. So that's going to give it more marks for that. But yeah, the timeline thing sort of bothered me. I think they probably could have done that a little bit differently. The humor was great. Two pumps and a shake, mate. That's not. Let's just go.
I think
That
that's what
was
we're renaming
hilarious.
our podcast, by the way. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, let's call it two pumps and a shake. There we go.
yeah, instead of two
So
beards.
I think if I was to give this episode a rating, Rousey's rating for Welcome to Wrexham season 2, episode 1, Welcome Back to Wrexham, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Yep, that's pretty adequate.
Adrian, what would you give it?
Yeah, without sounding like a broken record, yeah, 7 would be a very, very valid one. Again, I think they had to get rid of they had to do the timeline skip to you could see the Christmas decorations, in the background, but it had to be done to show and get rid of, the king and get rid of the
Get rid
monarchy.
of the king.
Honestly, get rid of him. Like honestly, and I'm not saying it's a political thing. It was, but at the end of the day, Charles and them, the monarchy used Wrexham to get a bit more publicity for them, as well as Wrexham used them to hopefully get funding for the COP,
Yeah.
which we know didn't happen. So for them to put them straight away and get them out of the way, yeah, smart. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. All right, viewers, that's the end of this episode. So we will see you next week with another review episode for episode 2 of Welcome to Wrexham. This one will be a good one.
Very keen.
See you all next week.
See you then.